Hey, this is Nate Ulrich, Browns beat writer from the Akron Beacon-Journal, alongside Steve Dorshik, Browns beat writer for the Canton Repository. And we are here to answer 3 questions and then get out of here. So we're going to kind of informally call it 3 and out. And here we go. We got questions from people on Twitter. Steve, here we go with how has Seth DeValve looked, and is he a lock to make the team? The tight end Seth DeValve.
Nate, I got 90 guys out there to babysit every day, and Seth DeValve's not one of them, so I don't know how he's looked, to be honest with you. As we were talking informally just a minute ago, he has been out there. Yeah. But I haven't loved DeValve as a player and a forceful player in the 2 years he's been here, and I think that they are looking for a possible replacement. He caught some balls last year. He had the same number of snaps, if I'm not mistaken, as Njoku, so he has experience, but not experience with the Dorsey regime.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's a Sashi guy, and we've seen Dorsey get rid of those. I think he's going to make the team. If I had to make a 53-man roster, I'd put him on it. He hasn't played in the preseason yet because he's had a quad injury, so I think he does need to get on the field. But I've always kind of envisioned the tight end room with David Njoku, Darren Fells, and Seth DeValve all having significant roles. So I could be wrong, but I do consider him a guy for the 53.
Okay.
We have another question. Why is Jeff Janis getting 0 offensive snaps? Do you have a take on Jeff Janis, the free agent pickup from Green Bay?
Yep, he's part of the same 90 guys that I have to babysit every day, along with you, Nate. But he is one of the guys that I'm actually babysitting. I have been watching him because it's fascinating to me that he's kept the job. I think this is his 5th year in the league. And he's kept the job as a receiver, having cut hardly any passes across his 4 previous years. But maybe the new regime, maybe Highsmith and Elliott Wolf from Green Bay are ticked off at you for not playing him. I don't know, but they're playing him some. I think he's getting plenty of action in practice. So I'd say that the question is off base from the standpoint. I see him plenty in training camp practices, and we saw him out here tonight, and he's a good special teams player, and I think he will make the roster as a special teams player.
Yeah, I do too. I know a lot of people would disagree with both of us, but we're going to agree on this one. I think he was a special teams ace in Green Bay. Obviously, like you mentioned, Dorsey, Highsmith, Elliott Wolf brought him here. They like him. And in my mind, Tank Carter was that special teams ace for the Browns the last several years. And he's gone. And, I think that Jeff Janis can kind of fill that role. So that's kind of how I look at him. Not really as a receiver, but as a special teamer and, a contributor in every phase of special teams. So that's why I think he will make the team along with his connections to the guys who brought him here.
Just to finish that point and this subject, Nate, it's way down the line, but they have to sweat the details, and this could be an important one because special teams have been a real problem with penalties, especially the last couple of years. But Janis is that veteran guy in the special teams room, and just about every other position group, literally every position group out there on offense and defense has had an injection of a veteran in every case, and Janis just might be that main guy who is the veteran that they wanted to bring in for veteran presence on special teams.
All right, and our last question, I'm guessing that this question was prompted by the Browns passing game tonight, which really kind of stalled in the 1917 loss to the Buffalo Bills. The starting defense was dominant. 4 series, 4 3-and-outs. The running game got on track and looked good, especially Carlos Hyde early. Nevertheless, we got somebody who was bothered by tonight's game, I think. And the question is, do you agree with me that it will be an achievement if this team wins 3 games? That's from Frank Byrne on Twitter. And by the way, I should have said Steve Bruss asked us about DeValve and Shane Lorenz asked us about Janis. But Frank Byrne wants to know, Steve, will it be an achievement if this team wins 3 games coming off 1-31 in the last 2 years and 0-16 last year?
No, Nate, a couple of simple things for me there. 3 wins is never an achievement. I don't care if it's a 3-game improvement over 0-16. I don't care what it is. I don't think 6-10 is satisfactory. I think the Cleveland Browns need to shoot for and are shooting for with John Dorsey as the forceful point man in this. They're shooting for being that surprise team that the NFL sprouts not once in a while, but every year, and every year it's a different team. And it's been the Browns' turn for a long time. And I think that I guess I'm giving Dorsey the benefit of the doubt right now in saying that he has really put both hands around the neck of this roster and really improved it all across the board, with the thought that they're going to take a run at being that surprise team. It could be that they'll only be 3-13. I mean, that's their best record in the last 3 years. So how can we assume that they are going to be even that? But I'm guessing that there's, in my mind, there's no chance they'll be that bad.
I agree with you in the sense that 3 wins would not be an achievement at all, even though they're coming off 1-31. Hugh Jackson will be fired, in my opinion, if they go 3-13. There won't be any more. Let's see what Hugh can do with another shot. This is it. I think that, this team should be realistically in the 6-8 win range. Sure, they could be a surprise team and do more than that. I'm not expecting that. I think there needs to be a stepping stone year between 0-16 and being that real surprise, maybe wild card team. I'm not that optimistic, but I think if they can get in the 6-8 win range, that would be, real improvement and what I would view as realistic at this point. 3 wins would be a big letdown. And I actually talked to Myles Garrett about this recently, and I will share that he said there's no excuse for us being, under 500 this year based on the talent we have. And I think that is the general sentiment in that locker room. So that's how I would view that and answer that question. 3 wins, not nearly enough.
Fair point, Nate, in terms of you saying, bridge year. I forget what the term was he used, but it's stepping stone. Okay, stepping stone. But key stat: the Kansas City Chiefs were 2-14 1 year before John Dorsey arrived. They were 11-5 the year he arrived. So I think that's firmly in the forefront of Dorsey's mind.
And the key to that was acquiring Alex Smith via trade, and here he has Tyrod Taylor coming to Cleveland via trade. We'll see if he can do it after ending the Bills' 17-year playoff drought last year. That would be quite a remarkable story. Well, that's it. We answered 3 questions, and we're getting out of here. Thanks for watching.